This is Margaret Tighe. Don't let her age fool you. This is a veteran anti-abortion campaigner. Margaret Tighe still reigns supreme as the president of Right to Life. That didn't stop her championing the pro-life cause in newspaper advertisements not that long ago. As one would expect, she urged voters to support parliamentarians who voted against abortion and to punish those who voted for it. She may have been single-handedly responsible for the defeat of the Brumby government, a fact that no one so far, apart from the Tasmanian Times, is giving her credit for. This is an unnoticed Australian hero, Margaret Tighe. Thank you for your work to help the unborn. These are her stories. These are her views.
Hey guys, I'm here with Margaret Tighe. She is a pioneer in the pro-life movement here in Victoria and probably Australia. So it's a very lucky exclusive that I have her here, and I'll get you to tell everyone a little bit about your story. Why is the pro-life movement something that you resonate with so much?
Yes, well, I started to become interested originally in 1969. That's a long time ago.
I wasn't born yet.
No, and I had 2 young children at the time, and there was a move to legalise abortion under certain circumstances here in Victoria, the state of Victoria. And they used to have editorials in the Age newspaper, which the Age newspaper was not as trendy as it is now, but nonetheless...
That's debatable.
Well, no, because it was much better years ago.
I agree.
Not nearly as bad as now. And anyway, they were suggesting that the law should allow abortion for incest and rape and deformities.
Okay.
And they said should not be allowed for any other circumstances. And there were a few meetings being held around Melbourne, and then an organisation appeared to be formed called the Abortion Law Reform Organisation. And the president of that at the time, for a while, was Gareth Evans, who was a senator and who was a Foreign Affairs Minister for a long time. He's always sounded very important. He's been retired from the Parliament for years, and sounds very important the way he speaks. And anyway, he was the first president of the Abortion Law Reform Organisation. And so I was reading these things in the newspaper, and it was upsetting me a lot, because I guess having experienced the birth of 2 children, but initially I was a bit infertile for a while, for a couple of years.
Okay.
And because I thought, how come I can't get pregnant? Because my 2 sisters, they all had families, etc., and my brothers. And then when I did, the first time suspect that I was pregnant, I was totally aware of the fact that there was a little person inside me. And you begin to wonder. I do think my experience of when I was pregnant for the first time, and you're totally aware of the fact that there's a little person inside you, and just from the beginning you start wondering, who is this little person? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? What is this little child like? And so I suppose I became switched on to the cause of the unborn. And then when there was pressure to legalise abortion here in Victoria, well, I met up with a couple of other women who lived in the suburb of Pascoe Vale, and I actually came to know them through, there was this Jesuit priest, a Father Phillips, and he was such a fine man, and he used to write letters to the newspaper against this proposition of legalising abortion, and they were very good letters. And so I used to ring him up, have a talk with him, and he said, I must arrange for you to meet these 2 women. And so I did meet them, and we discussed things that we might do, and subsequently too, there was another woman who lived in my suburb, and she was also very concerned about the proposition of legalising abortion in Victoria, and so she had a little meeting at her home. She had a couple of young children then too. She was a lawyer actually, and so there was this little small group of us, and then there was a bigger group developed in Essendon. They were mainly Catholic people, and anyway, they discussed, what could we do about this threat of legalised abortion. And funnily enough, I say funnily enough because it was a ridiculous suggestion, that the majority of them came to the conclusion, well look, we'll wait until it happens and then we'll fight it. I mean, as if you'd do that, really.
Prevention is better.
Exactly. And anyway, and then a group of us, because as I said, we're all Catholics, but we're not a Catholic organisation, we're non-denominational, and there's many more Christians have become involved in the movement now. So many more, like half our committee are Christians who go to other churches. And so anyway, having said that, there was this group of us in Essendon, and we were all pretty intelligent and educated, like I was a pharmacist, and there was one was the husband of this woman, she was a lawyer, the husband was a doctor, one was a secondary school teacher. So there was a group of us, and so we thought we'll go to the Catholic Archbishop, because in those days most opposition for this move came from Catholic circles, absolutely, and it was the same in the United States. But the movement in the States grew when the evangelicals and others got on board, and the Southern Baptists and all of that made it much stronger. And anyway, having said that, so we made an appointment to see the Catholic Archbishop, and he was a very nice man. His name was Archbishop Knox. He eventually became a cardinal and worked in Rome. But he was a very nice man, and we went to see him. We'd said, we'd like to see something done about this issue of abortion. And he said, well, you have to understand it's a matter for experts. And there were all of us. We were all had secondary educations, university educations. And anyway, I thought that was a bit hilarious. So it was rather disappointing and frustrating. So the next thing was, I started writing to a group in England called SPUC, Society for Protection of Unborn Children, because what really began this move to legalise abortion in Western countries was the British Parliament in 1967-68. They passed the Abortion Law Reform Act in the UK, and that gave the green light to the performance of abortions throughout the UK. There were some restrictions, but unfortunately it meant that they were given the green light, really. And that was really how things started.
Is that around the same time Margaret Sanger came into the picture?
No, she was before that. She was a younger woman.
Okay.
But she was pro-abortion too.
I know.
She was, yes. Anyway, that's what happened in the British Parliament, rather sad to relate. And so that meant there was more impetus here too. Anyway, so I joined that organisation. I used to get their publication.